Okay, so this is the first official, I guess, Bermuda race interview. So
Okay.
I was kidding, because you got here before everybody, so it wasn't fair.
Right?
Go big early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got here before everybody, all the rest of us. So we haven't had a chance to debrief with you on your race.
Uh-huh.
So the basic question: what happened for you guys out there?
It was
How'd it go down?
Exciting race for us, certainly. 24 hours before the start, it looked like maybe we were going to have a crack at the record, but it was always pretty nuanced, kind of with the frontal timing. And basically, the faster the front came, the more likely we were to fall off the back of it. And the slower the front came, the more we'd kind of have to get up into it before we got our shift and we were able to sail to Bermuda. But the biggest change was kind of the volatility on the front end of it. The pressure forecast, the last one we got before departure, was a lot more up and down. So it took us a little bit longer to get locked in. We had to do a couple tacks, which was kind of
right out of the bed.
Yeah, right out the gate to get the shift and avoid some of the light air and some of the cells that had materialized on the frontal boundary.
Let me pause you there. How the hell do you see those?
What's that?
How do you see those? I mean, how do you know those cells?
Oh, just the radar. Just like any.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Should I go to the beach today? Let me check the radar.
Okay.
Just like that. And still in kind of 4G territory, and we came out in like 220, very typical of that opening there at Castle Hill. But then it kind of went to 200, so it was an inexpensive time to get on board tack. And we came back when we felt like we had like a 230. And basically for us, our polar is such that when we're on the wind, we're doing 14 knots, call it at 55 true wind angle. But, once we get to 60, 65 true wind angle, we're doing 18 knots, so we had to spend a little early so that we could make our lives a little better later. And
so in layman's terms, basically just got to sail a little high so that you have some space to just crack and go.
Yeah, exactly. Just create a little runway so that we have the ability to sail wider later, basically.
Yeah,
and then
awesome.
The first probably 15 hours were a little volatile. So it was reef in, reef out, J2, J3. But then really the trip got easier for us after the stream when it got really windy, because we were in the same sail combination the entire time. So it's 2 reefs and a J3, and whether it's on 25 or 35, that's us. And you could actually put your head down and get a little sleep. But it was pretty chaotic until then.
It's terminal velocities, which in that combination, that's what you get.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, the only other options are third reef, staysail, bare poles, and I mean, we certainly didn't see anything like that. I mean, the big thing for us this race is just the incessant sea state. It was just confused. It's not like it was big by any means. We had like 2.5, 3 meter waves max, but when they're not coming or going the direction you want them to, they can be a bit of a nuisance.
That's what Warrior and Khaleesi did the same thing, basically just the anger of the sea, for them as well. I mean, they're only an hour behind you guys. For them it's really hard. But on that note, with the sea state, we spend so much time looking at weather and yada yada. But like, can you predict that kind of sea state, or is that totally unpredictable?
You can to some extent. It's a little easier. I don't want to say easier, but those guys, the 52s, the next boats to finish, fell off the front. So it's pretty predictable that they'd be coming downwind into an oncoming sea state. For us, I didn't expect it to be as confused as it was. And actually, I kept kind of hammering some of the media guys. I'm like, it can't be as good as you're saying it's going to be. And, sure enough, it wasn't. But, it only has to be off by 5-10 degrees relative to square or where you want to go or what makes the boat comfortable. But it really affects, particularly on our boat, the way you can sail it. The foils push so hard and you have so much riding moment that we find ourselves sailing pretty flat all the time. And you really can't do that in a sea state. So we have to induce heel and other ways to kind of get through it and kind of choose our angle to the wave pretty carefully.
How do you induce heel, or is that secret?
Well, use less foil.
Yeah.
So how you achieve that, whether it's through rake, whether it's through extension, whether it's through trimming the sails harder, sailing without ballast and reducing the displacement of the boat. So I guess that's an answer I can give you without giving away too much, but there's plenty of ways to do it.
Yeah, a lot of ways to do it. Yeah, not just shifting sails to leeward and leaving the boat over.
But interestingly enough, I mean, traditionally the Volvo Ocean Race, the ocean race, has always been about stack, and it was kind of like a race for riding moment. But now with these boats having foils just in the center, Like the longitudinal center of effort is much more important than making sure you have all the weight to windward.
Yeah, roger.
I mean, in a lot of ways, these boats have riding moment in excess of what they can handle from a rig standpoint. It's just making sure you're trimmed through the water well.
Different dimensions. That's the fourth dimension, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. The Z-axis is all of a sudden a important factor in this fleet.
So for this, what was your elapsed time in, without having to go to the score? Would you guys do the miles in?
I think 1 day, 17 hours.
Okay, that's pretty quick. But you guys do that going off the coast of France like every weekend during training, right? It's kind of a normal day.
Yeah, 600 miles is not, I guess, a big deal for us.
Yeah.
If we go do an overnighter, we expect to chop off 600 miles. But also when we're doing overnighters, we're trying to maximize our mileage and usually end up going downwind. We never got wider than 70 on this trip, which is uncomfortable. But nonetheless, I mean, it's different when it's a race. Everybody's mentality is different, so it was great for the team, and it was cool to have our guests.
Yeah, let's talk about those quickly. I mean, I know Ian, we've got a Newport connection there somehow, some way, and how did his name come on board?
Yeah, so we had Ian Walsh, who's a big wave surfer, and Elena Height with us, who's a big mountain snowboarder, and we wanted to use this as an opportunity to kind of, I guess, I don't want to say like increase like the fan base, but like diversify our audience a little bit. I mean, sailing is, it can be the same group of people at the same yacht club talking about the same boats, telling the same stories, and we need to expand. The world's bigger than the world we're perceived to live in, and there's a lot of overlap with Ian and Elena and what they're trying to do with their messaging through their sport. And we knew Ian from the time he'd spent at the Volvo Ocean Race at the stopover in Newport, born in Rhode Island. Amory Ross sailed with him and Travis Rice from Tahiti to Hawaii and made a movie about it, which was really cool. And Mark sat on a panel with Elena, and they seemed like, in some ways, natural choices once the concept was established, once we decided we were going to do something like this. And man, did they deliver. I mean, they're awesome on board. Total gamers, nothing fazed them, right in there. Lapping up the experience. I don't know that they are going to change careers or that they could
pretty solid in their own career.
Yes, I would say. But not only because of their talent, but just because they're so switched on. I mean, they're really impressive people. But yeah, the sustainability, but like the ability to do what we did in the last 48 hours for 30 days or something, I think that part is beyond them. But I tried to explain to them, we don't go upwind the whole time. When you have the old ocean to do your routing, you try to avoid the upwind bits.
Right. And did they get to drive the beast, or would you?
Most
would you
of
allow them?
It's interesting. Yeah. Most of it's autopilot.
Yeah, so you're on autopilot.
For us, we did it overnight with them in the lead up to the race, and they did a little driving and stuff like that. Like, oh, I can't believe you let us drive. It's like, well, if we thought you were going to break it, we wouldn't let you do it. So the conditions are such that we're outside, you look around, you get the tiller in your hand. But yeah, they enjoyed it thoroughly. It was great.
It's awesome. It's just the right amount of time to be like, that was wicked cool, and I'm ready to get off this thing.
Exactly. I think the seasickness tablets never wore off, and no, they were great. It was really, really impressive.
Cool.
That was really
All right, so the quick back to Newport today, zipping back, and then you guys are training out of the hometown for a couple months and just doing the same thing, just sending it out every once in a while. What's the plan?
Yeah, it's we're sailing back. Ian and Elena got off the boat. We have our boat captain, Irish, and Jack Patel, who just flew in, sailing back with us. Try to use this as a little bit of a training run, trying to find some good conditions, particularly in the back part of the trip. Should be about 3 days, and then we'll take a little bit of a breather, honestly, because this chapter kind of started for me when I flew to France on May 16th, and it's still playing out. We did like a transatlantic, ocean hour week. We did a grantee visit in New York, sailed the Bermuda race, delivery back. So it'll be, 4,500 miles for me and many an activity in between.
Yeah.
So
you got to add to that list 300 miles back in. Honey, I'm home.
Yeah, exactly. Good family factor. Kids' last day of school. My daughter had a 5th birthday in there. So it's been chaos. So 2 to 2.5 weeks of respite, which will be good. The boat's been sailed hard, so there's some work to be done while it's in in Newport.
Excellent.
And then middle of July, we lace it back up, and we're doing some filming, a little bit of a media sale, some training, and then we're doing a bay rally, which is pretty cool. The third week of July, we're visiting the Herreshoff Marine Museum and community boating up in Providence, and trying to engage the youth sailing community in and around Narragansett Bay.
Yeah.
And then we head back to France on August 1st. New foils, new sails, final ocean race prep, and then
So
down to Spain.
these are the first generation foils?
Yeah, these are the V1s.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You like the other ones better, though?
Don't know yet. I mean, they're in mid-construction.
Oh, I thought you were already on your second set.
Well, we built the set with the old boat.
Oh, right.
With the old boat,
Yeah.
which were great, which were really good. And these are too. They're a different philosophy, different family. So yeah, we can't wait to get the third set in and see kind of where we end up.
Awesome. We could probably go on for hours, but you gotta
Yeah, no,
you gotta clear out, man. They're like,
Yeah,
you
I
gotta make some
appreciate
room on the
it.
dock
No,
there.
no,
Yeah,
I
boats are coming in.
All good.
But you got ahead of everybody. It's kind of cool. You got us some little peace and quiet. Your first one here. Get out of here before the chaos starts. Yeah.
It was nice to sleep in a bed, a little AC,
Yeah.
you know, have some sushi, and off we go.
Off go. Excellent. Cool, man.
Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Appreciate
Cheers. Yeah, bro.
Adios.
Yeah.